everyone. So my name is Emily Mauer. I'd like to welcome you all to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Goffstown. Welcome to all of you who are joining us in the sanctuary today on this beautiful spring day. It's like a summer day, except that it's still spring. Welcome to those of you who are joining us on Zoom, and welcome to those of you who are joining us sometime online. With all of the things that we can do with our time, we are so glad chosen to spend time with us. This morning, our musician is Celia. And we'd like to send a shout out to Rob Pinasquio as our technology lead today. Thank you. For over 50 years, the UFP has been a liberal religious voice in the Pottstown area. As UUs, we cultivate a spirit of gratitude and hope. We believe it's okay if we don't have all the answers, and the world is a big place that we can explore however we can. The most important thing is that we believe our circle of justice and compassion is big enough for everyone to be inside, no matter where they're looking for, what they're looking for in their lives, or where they are in their spiritual journey. We hope that your spirit, your heart, and your mind are refreshed this morning as we explore the way that our dreams guide our experience while we're asleep and while we're awake. We come together this Sunday morning and every Sunday morning, not because of a creed, but because we promise one another to support each other on our spiritual journeys. Our services are really different every week, but the loving kindness we find in this community is always the same. So whoever you are, wherever you are, whoever you love, we are so glad that you are with us today. All right, now we have a moment for an announcement. If anyone has an announcement, please come up to the front.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Monica. We had our board meeting on Thursday last week, and I just have a couple of things. So our big congregational meeting is going for the year is going to be in June. It's going to be June 28th, and we'll have like a formal announcement go out, but I just want to let you know. We will be voting on things. We'll be voting on the new board. We'll be voting on the committee council seats. And also, if there's any bylaws changes, we're still working on that. We'll get those out to you. If we see anything that we want to update, we'll be voting on those things as well. So we need to have a quorum in order to make things official. So please, please, please show up for that date. Also, Newer Traditions is leaving the end of the month, and we're going to have to furnish some of the rooms for the kiddos. So keep in mind some nursery things. I'm going to get with our RE team and maybe think of some ideas and things that we want to do to how we want to design that room. So if you see anything on your trips to yard sales and things like that, let us know. So thank you.
Morning, my name is Chad. Just coming out of our committee council meeting where the different chairs get together once a month and just talk about all the different things that are going on. There is, it's the slogan is true, we're small but mighty, we have so much going on. And in a lot of different events we've had lately, there's been some people from some other congregations that have come that have way more butts in the seats, so to speak, than we do. And I feel like those congregations come here and they say like, oh my God, you guys have a lot going on. So I do appreciate it so much how active we are, how proactive, how involved in the community. It's awesome. Okay. So like Miss Valerie, I'm just like looking at some people involved, but Miss Valerie did such a great job with RE with Miss Britt. It's like such a valued part that our kids are so involved in our congregation. Miss Jess and Kay with the garden that does awesome donations to the cluster. So there's so many different ways to get involved. What we're going to do is update one of these bulletin boards out here with the different events that are going on and the different committees and little ways that we just need a couple more hands on deck to get involved, just so it's not such a heavy lift for these given individuals, but just to give more visibility for everything that's going on in the different committees. And we're also thinking of creating a new committee that is a fundraising committee, just to help keep track of everything we have going on, like Cliff's excellent Cliff and Eric's excellent dinners and stuff like that, which will also include rentals. So if you were looking for a way to get involved, we'll have it posted in the bulletin board. Or if you're interested, you can just talk to Monica, myself, or anybody else on the board, Sam. And just lend your time. It goes a long way because we do have a lot going on. Thanks.
Good morning. I'm Irene and I'm speaking to you on behalf of being a treasurer today. And we are coming up with our pledge drive. I'm not going to share too much today because there's exciting information coming out, but I will give you a date. The date will be June 21st. It'll be one day after the wonderful fundraiser that I'm sure Chef Cliff will announce momentarily. And so that's going to be a great weekend for us to come together and showcase our generosity for this wonderful place here. So again, more information to come, but the name will probably be paving the way. So just to put a little nugget there to get you all excited. Yes, more announcements to come. And also we will be closed next Sunday for Memorial Day observance. So just ensure that the place will be closed for Memorial Day. Thanks so much. Next Sunday.
If anybody has a free morning, like around 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, Representative Paul Friel is actually presiding over the reopening of St. Peter's Road through the village. So all the detours we've had, they are supposed to stop. It's done a month early. So if anybody wants to go there, it's 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Also, if I have a friend who needs very part-time childcare help. So if anybody is interested in hearing more about it, please come see me. Thanks.
Morning, everybody. I'm Clifford, and coming up is my next cooking demo, all about how to cook the perfect steak. Let me see, it's Saturday, June 20th from 10 to 2. The donation is $35, and I'm going to be doing 3 different cuts and how to cook each one of them perfectly and the differences, and also a creamy potato gratin that goes with those steaks any time of the year.
Sure, we're all looking forward to that one.
Yeah.
So, Claudia, would you like to come up and light the chalice? Oh, no. We light our chalice this morning with words by Francis Kosiak. We light this chalice today as a people dedicated to personal growth. May it burn away the oppressions we've been taught and glow instead with the humility of learning. May it reunite our dreams for a better world and kindle our joy for simple living. May its warmth extend out into the forgotten alleyways of exclusion and bring us home to love, to welcoming, to all the challenges, questions, and blessings of a beautiful path to becoming a whole lovely community. Thank you so much. All right. Now is the time for the chime. So let me remind everyone that while we love technology and it brings us close to people who are far away from us, it also distracts us from the people who are right in the next room. And my kids make fun of me when I text them when they're upstairs and I'm downstairs. You know, but well, we're all here. We might as well turn that worship up. So now that you've done that, nice deep breath. Settle into your chair. Close your eyes if you choose. Listen to the small sounds of a room full of people who are worshiping God. Morning, Jones. All right. See how long you can hear this ring. For opening words this morning, we have words from Judith Van Hine. We gather together in this space to honor and understand our lives. We bring our tasks and would share them. our dreams and what express them. We use words and song and silence and gesture. Words cannot define our lives, but they enable us to reach out to one another and to tell and to listen that we may be renewed, trusted, and unburdened. Apprehend with wonder the lives of those around you. For as Lao Tzu said, from wonder into wonder, existence opens. I'll ask you to rise in body or spirit to join in singing hymn number 126, Spirit of Life. Today, we are honored to have Yvette McDonnell. Yvette McDonnell is the Congregational Life Coordinator and Ministerial Intern at Main Line Unitarian Church in Devon, PA. Her work centers on liberation, social justice, spiritual philosophy that honors what cannot easily be defined or maintained, bridging the sacred and the everyday. Welcome, Yvette.
Good morning, everyone. Good
morning.
So this is story for all ages, stories for all time. Do you all come up together?
Yeah.
Come on up. Where do we usually sit? Listen over. Oh, I can. It is but just. That would be great. Great. Got it. How are you guys doing? Fine. Do you mind if I sit here with you all? You can see that. It's really. Oh, Matthew's tree. So I'm reading to show you the pictures, Matthew's tree by Rev Yvette McDonnell. This is one of my favorite stories. It's like great pictures. So a couple of mice lived in a dusty attic with their only child. His name was Matthew. In one corner of the attic, draped with cobwebs, were piles of newspapers and books and magazines and an old broken lamp and the sad remains of a doll. That was Matthew's corner. This is a part of my room, actually. The mice were very poor, but they had high hopes for Matthew. He would grow up to be a doctor, perhaps. Then they would have Parmesan cheese, fancy, right? For breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But when they asked Matthew what he wanted to be, he said, I don't know. I want to see the world. They were amazed at what they saw. Oh, just a pitch. Hold on. Yes, I did. Okay. One day, Matthew and his classmates were taken to the museum. It was their first time. Have you all been to a museum before? Yeah? They were amazed at what they saw. There was a huge portrait of King Mouse the Fourth, dressed like a general. And next to it was a picture of cheese that made Matthew drool. There were winged mice that floated through the air, and mice with horns and bushy tails, and mountains and rushing streams and branches blowing in the wind. The world is all here, thought Matthew. I really like cheese like Matthew. And then cheese. All right. Entranced, Matthew wandered from room to room, gazing at the paintings. There were some that he didn't understand at first. One looked like crust of pastry, but when he looked more carefully, a mouse emerged. Then, turning a corner, Matthew found himself face to face with another little mouse. She smiled at him. I am Nicoletta, she said. Aren't these paintings wonderful? So he made fun. That night, Matthew had a strange dream. He dreamed that he and Nicoletta were walking hand in hand in an immense, fantastic painting. So there they are holding hands. As they walked, playful patches of color shifted under their feet, and all around them, suns and moons moved gently to the sound of distant music. Matthew had never been so happy. He embraced Nicoletta. Let's stay here forever, he said. Is there a place that you all like to stay forever? Any place? No? I like a place to stay that has ice cream. Like that? Yeah. Matthew woke with a start. He was alone. Nicoletta had faded with his dream. The gray dreariness of his attic corner appeared to him in all the bleak misery. Tears came into his eyes. He was so sad. Okay. But then, as if magic, when Matthew saw began to change, the shapes hugged each other, and the pale colors of the messy jug kept breaking. Even the crumpled newspaper gown looked soft and smooth. And from afar, Matthew thought he heard the notes of familiar music. He ran to his parents' corner. I know, he said. Now I know. I want to be a painter. Matthew became a painter. He worked hard and painted large canvases filled with the shapes and colors of joy. Then he married. Who do you think he married? Before I continue. Right. Then he married Nicoletta. In time, he became famous, and mice from all over the world came to see and buy his paintings. His largest painting now hangs in the museum. When asked about the title, Matthew smiles. The title, he says, as if he had never thought about it before. My truth. What did you all think? Good. Why don't we all get ready? Then we don't have to go to the classroom, but you right. So I invite you all to say the children out to their classes now. Wait, very sorry.
Now is the time in our service where we pause for our morning offering. Michael Paul said, as we approach the time for our offering, give what you will, for we are a generous people. Thank you so much for the morning offering. It's been given in spirit of generosity and received with gratitude and love.
Good morning again. We're going to just take a little bit of time before we share and start with a little bit of a meditation. I know you all had a gentle one as we started, but I wanted to invite in not just some deep breathing, but our bodies as well. So I would invite you now to find yourself in a comfortable position, whatever that is for you. Maybe you're sitting, maybe those of you who are doing that might be lying down, something that feels really good to invite you to close your eyes just for a moment. Taking a deep breath in, exhaling out and releasing your shoulders and letting them relax. Breathing in again. And exhaling and having, if you're able to have your chin touch your chest. Exhaling, lifting your head up. Breathing in again. And looking up at the sky. Exhaling out to center. Lifting your shoulders up. Really tight, and then just kind of releasing. Let's do that again. In. It's okay to make a loud exhale. Breathing in. Breathing out. Thank you. This is something that I try my best to do every day. When I wake up in the morning, when I am at the office, when I've been sitting at my desk for far too long. And something that I try, not always very successful, but I try to do it before I go to bed. To engage a little bit of relaxation, letting the day go, and calling myself center. Thank you so much for inviting me here today to be with you. I am Yvette McDonnell, the Congregational Life Coordinator and Ministerial Intern at Mainline Unitarian Church. And I have my appointment to see the MFC. Yay, in December. So that's a bit of good news I wanted to share with you all. It's been a long time. And over the past month, I have found myself drawn to the vast depth of possibilities. I live in a space, and my ministry is in the space of hope. Hope that has yet to be discovered. And I live in that space of hope that has yet to be discovered. And I include the dream world in that. And I've really been contemplating the dream world. And where I can find hope within that realm. And so today I invite you to join me in exploring the realm where boundaries of the material dissolve. And the veil between the physical and the spiritual grows very thin. I invite us to explore together the possibilities that await us when we surrender to our sleep and open ourselves to wisdom and wonder of our dreams. The human brain is deeply a fascinating place, especially when we drift off into the world of dreams. Dreams can be rather very vivid, mental, emotional, and sensory experiences that arise when we sleep, sometimes when we meditate, and even when we find ourselves daydreaming. When we sleep, our minds enter a unique state where dreams often unfold, offering us a window into our subconsciousness, or just another realm. And according to science, the most common and intense dream occur during what is called REM sleep, when our brains become the most active. There are many perspectives on why we dream. And according to a postdoctoral student, Raj Roy from the McGovern Institute, he said that the brain is constantly recording information throughout the day. And one of the ways that we are able to take a break from that and make sense of all that is when we fall asleep and start to dream. Our newly formed memories are gradually woven into this fabric of our long-term memory. And dreaming is shaped by this process, kind of consolidates things. And most dreams are usually built from your day-to-day experiences, your thoughts, your emotions, places that you've been, people who you have met, and some people that you don't even know yet. He spoke about the mysterious rhythms of beta, gamma, and alpha waves. But today, I kind of want to set science aside and invite us into the sense of wonder. What can the realm of our dreams teach us about ourselves, our connection to spirit, and how can our dreams help us dream a better future into being? For some, dreams are filled with all kinds of meaning, symbolism, and wisdom. For others, dreams are not imbued with significance in the way that we expect, but instead carry a magical and mystical essence, an invitation to embrace the mystery at the heart of our shared human experience. The dream world has long been regarded by many spiritual traditions as a real place, one that is not different from this material world that we are in right now. The dream world for some can move beyond the five senses and can mostly be associated perhaps to our sixth sense. When we close our eyes and drift off to sleep, we move through a threshold, a portal, where time does not exist, where the realm of the ordinary frameworks, rules, and space and logic dissolve into thin air. In this sacred space, in this sacred place, our souls can become wanderers and explorers of the great mystical and mysterious landscape. For some, the dream world is a spiritual classroom, a place where wisdom is imparted through symbols and stories and encounters with all kinds of beings and even ancestors. Dreams may offer us some guidance, healing, insight. They might help us process our joys and our sorrows, our fears and our aspirations. In indigenous and mystical traditions, dreams are not merely random firings of the brain, but messages from spirit and language of our soul. Black Elk, medicine man of the Lakota people, once said, and it was explained in the Meditation with Native Americans, the Four Seasons book. The Great Spirit has many ways of communicating with human beings. He talks us through the five senses: sight, hearing, taste, smell, touch. So for example, when we observe nature and see a lesson, we might get an answer. These five senses function primarily in the physical world, but we also have the ability to receive them in communication from the world that is unseen. To do this, we have this thing called a sixth sense. It comes in forms of dreams. It can come in forms of imagination, intuition, inspiration, or just that hunch that you might get. Along with the dream world, you might sense this intuitive feeling, right? Sometimes for some, you might get that feeling that you just know in your stomach or someplace in your body. Sometimes we just know something to be true without needing proof. We need to pay attention to our dreams. We need to pay attention to our intuition. Don't cast them off as being silly or useless. To regard the dream world as spiritually real is a way to honor the depth and the mystery of our inner lives. It invites us to listen more deeply and to become more attuned to those whispers of our hearts, of our desires, our longings, and our discernments. By embracing the dream world as a sacred space, we often are able to open ourselves to new ways of knowing, new ways of healing, and new ways of connecting with the divine. The possibilities of tapping into our dreams can be very transformative. I would like to invite us to consider the Old Testament of the Bible, specifically the story of Joseph, the first son of Jacob and Rachel, who was an important figure in Genesis. In ancient Egypt, the Pharaoh was troubled by dreams no one could interpret. There were seven fat cows that were eaten by 7 scrawny cows, and then 7 healthy ears of corn, followed by 7 ears that were thin and withered. The Pharaoh was having a hard time interpreting these dreams, and nobody could help him figure out what these dreams meant. Well, no one except Joseph. Joseph had become well known for his wisdom and interpretation and connection to the divine and interpreting dreams. So Joseph listened to the Pharaoh's dreams and explained, the dreams that you're having mean the same thing. Egypt will have 7 years of abundance, followed by 7 years of famine. The Pharaoh was very impressed, and he followed Joseph's advice and stored the grain during the good years, so when famine came, Egypt was ready and many lives were saved. Joseph became famous for interpreting dreams. Pharaoh made him governor of the grain stores. So very much like Joseph. Every time I tell the story, I always get like Jacob and Joseph like too many J's. So very much like Joseph and Black Elk, I grew up with a profound reverence for the power and the mystery of dreams. In my family, we didn't use formal language for these practices. Instead, dream sharing was just simply part of our everyday life and rhythm. Interpreting dreams was more than a pastime. It was a spiritual act, a way to connect to divine guidance and the wisdom of our ancestors. One way we incorporated dreams into our lives was through something called dream books. Dream books, especially in the late 1800s, became treasured tools in my family. And for those who are unfamiliar, a dream book is a special guide that lists common dreams and pairs them with either specific numbers, often 3-digit numbers, and also connects with certain words and or symbols with particular interpretations. For example, if someone dreamt of a cat, the dream book might list a number to play. to play in the lottery. And it also, and could also explain what a cat symbolizes, such as interdependence or mystery. So our family dream book included 3-digit numbers and interpretations, which were used for playing the local number. This is like back in the day, right? So this is like the local number, not what you see on like ABC, but the local number, which was kind of like a little bit of like a legal lottery system. And for trying to understand hidden messages in our dreams. These books offer not only hope of material gain, but also a way to discover deeper meaning in life. So I left the stage because I forgot something super important for today's sermon. This is my grandmother's dream book. Yeah. And this, I'm laughing because, yeah, there's like 3-digit numbers in here. And this is actually, you see how it's kind of like yellowed? This is how she played the numbers on the streets. And so to get money, there was this hope, right? Hope of a better life, hope of a better future through this dream book. Yeah. So this dream book was treasured by my grandmother. It's called HP Dream Book. And it was not just a collection of 3-digit numbers. It was really a roadmap to hope, a lifetime of possibility. Through running numbers on the streets, and even though it was illegal, she and her neighbors believed that faith could invite the divine into the ordinary and transform their circumstances with a single blessed number. And to strengthen their hopes, they would share dreams with each other and play each other's numbers. Using a neighbor's dream from the book wasn't just about increasing odds, it was an act of solidarity, a way of saying your vision matters to me. So by joining faith in this way, the community affirmed that their hopes, that their struggles, and their destinies were woven together. Sharing dreams preserved wisdom. It built collective memory and sometimes gave courage to speak truth when words failed. For many, this was more than just a game of chances. It was an act of economic hope, a quiet pursuit of liberation. The last story I want to share with you is rooted in African cosmology and the people of Burkina Faso. Malidoma Some, a spiritual leader whose name means friend of the enemy or stranger. His people believed he was destined to come to the West and share with Western audiences and promote African cosmologies. When he returned to Burkina Faso, he wanted to do an experiment to see if he'd be able to, if his people and the elders would be able to tell the difference between reality and imagination. He recounts the story in his book of Water and of Spirit in the chapter called Voyage Home. He said when he returned home, he went to visit his village in 1986. He said, I brought a little electronic generator, a television monitor, a VCR, and a tape of Star Trek, titled The Voyage Home. He said, I wanted to know if the Dagara elders, his people, could tell the difference between fiction and reality. The events of the show unfolded. We all know, well, we know, maybe not. It was a science fiction show considered futuristic here in the West, right? How was it perceived with the elders in Burkina Faso? Well, for them, for the elders in the tribe, what they were watching was nothing but the day-to-day lives of ordinary people living in another world. The elders did not understand what a starship was, and they had no problem understanding light speed and teleportation, except they thought they could have done it much more discreetly. Melodoma said, I couldn't make them understand that what they were watching was not at all real. He didn't have a word for that.
Oh,
Even though stories abound in my culture, I had no way to get across to them that the Western concept of fiction was nothing but a lie. So that's how he was able to explain to them that what they were watching was a lie. He continues, he said, my elders were comfortable with Star Trek, the West's vision of its own future, because they believed in magical beings like Spock. They believed in traveling at the speed of light and teleportation. They believed in the wonders of the dream world. The wonders that Westerners imagine that being a part of the future was very, very much the day-to-day life of the elders in his village. This blending of imagination and reality offers a powerful metaphor of how we can find meaning in our own spiritual journeys and in our UU values. How can we be guided by our traditions of pluralism? How can we honor the countless ways the sacred speaks to us, whether through scripture, through science, or through cultural experiences, as we've kind of explored just for a little bit today? So I invite you to reflect, how might your dreams be speaking to you? What truths are they whispering about who you are, what you are called to do, how you are called to show up? How can you lend yourself to the vast possibilities of the dream realm and listen for its messages? I would like to invite you to consider keeping a little notebook by your bed, perhaps, jotting down your dreams before the details fade, to before your feet hit the ground. Just roll over and just jot them down. I invite you to share your dreams with those you trust and invite others to share it with you. You can, if you want, play the lottery. We might have to split the earnings. But by honoring and holding your dreams, these dreams together, it will create space for wisdom. It will create space for healing, and it will create space for transformation to take root. I invite you now to rise in mind, body, or spirit and sing our closing hymn together, 346. Come dream a dream with me. Amen, Ashe, and may it be so.
Dream So Much. So obviously that was not the name of the song, Come Dream a Dream. It was a verse of the song.
Honestly, I should have just made it say that. So now is the time in our service where we feel free to come together as a community and share the things that are making us so happy, we're bursting with joy, and the things that are weighing us down that we need an extra shoulder to help us bear. If you have a joy or a sorrow that you'd like to share this morning, please come on up, use the microphone if you choose, and say a few words if you choose. That is grateful for the joys of family and togetherness. We're grateful for new jobs and the beautiful planet we live in. Even if we're a little bit nervous about the way that the economy is shaping up and how it's going to affect our lives going forward. But we are so lucky to have this community where we can come and share these joys and these sorrows. So Spirit of Life and Love, be with us today as we celebrate with one another and as we comfort one another. Let's have one more small moment of silence. Please join in singing and repeating the child's extinguishing words. I mean, you can sing them if you like. We extinguish the child's ID, not the light of wisdom, the warmth of community, or the light of repentance. Be together in our hearts, in our hands, so we are together again. Our closing words today are by Becca Reynolds. May love permeate your every heartbeat. May faith guide your every step. May truth and compassion be your eternal traveling companions. And may a deep, abiding spirit rest joyously in your every waking wish, in your every resting dream. So, amen, shalom, shalom, blessed be, and please join me in listening to the postlude. Joining us today. Please go have coffee.